Welcome to today's KD Club podcast. I am so lucky that I know so many amazing female entrepreneurs, and I'm delighted to welcome today my sister Jessica, who is the co-founder of the Wild Loaf Bakery. You can access one of Jessica's classes on our KD Club platform, and you can learn how to make the perfect cookie or some pastry. And here she is to tell us all about how she got started in her bakery career. So, Jess, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
I just wanted to know more. What we talk to our guests about is really how they got started. So, lots of guests have always dreamed of becoming an interior designer or a wedding planner or a fashion designer. But you sort of, obviously, I know your background. How did you get started in bakery? Was that always something you wanted to do?
Well, we spoke a little bit about this before we came on. I never knew that I wanted to be a baker. So this is the thing, isn't it? Like we're talking about, it's kind of like I did an arts degree. The most important thing for me was to be creative and follow a path of total creativity, because 9-to-5 office job was never going to be for me. So I did an arts degree, and I DJ'd throughout the time that I was a student at uni. So I never actually had to do a job in hospitality or anything like that. I was always kind of self-employed, pushing myself. And the main thing for me was, like I say, just to be super, super creative. So I went to London, super fortunate to be able to go to St Martin's, got accepted there. That was excellent.
And just briefly, St Martin's is such a prestigious university
Absolutely.
in London, isn't it?
Yeah.
People travel from all over the world.
Yeah.
So I know lots of young people who could be listening to the podcast could be thinking about different universities, and St Martin's is really an amazing university to go to, isn't it? So credit to you for going to such an unbelievable university.
Yeah, no, I thought to myself, I'll do a foundation degree here in Liverpool, but I didn't really see myself staying in Liverpool. So I kind of thought there's more out there that I kind of want to experience, and Liverpool was just, it was great, but I just thought if I can get away, I can bring that experience back to Liverpool eventually. So I managed to get into St Martin's, and it was just an absolute privilege, just going down there. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. You know, it's not just going to be a super easy thing. You say bye to your family and you go. It's a hard experience. You know, it's a difficult place to live. It's a little bit isolating. It's a little bit lonely at times. But I'm glad to stay. I stuck it out, and I made some amazing friends down there. And it was just an incredible experience. It really opened my eyes to, you know, just people from all over the world, different cultures, you know, just kind of really inspired me. And so, I was super lucky to be able to kind of get a lot of just kind of freedom to kind of explore as well what I kind of wanted to do. So it was set design for theatre that I did in uni, and it was just so broad that they said to us, look, take this one piece and just roll with it, go anywhere with it. And it just opened my mind to the possibilities. And mainly, I'll tell you what I came away with, one amazing thing, because I had no money.
Yeah.
And it
obviously
kind of
living in London at the time.
Living in London,
expensive.
Incredibly, you know, it was challenging because it was just, you were a student, you know, you had to make ends meet. But especially in the world of in the university world, so it was kind of you can do whatever you want with this, but you've probably got a £100 budget. So you really have to step outside your comfort zone and just think, what can we do with pretty much nothing?
Okay.
And we did great. I joined a little collective, just two or three other students. We created this collective, and we just did lots of site-specific stuff. We just did amazing things with very, very little that I look back on and I think how proud I am of that.
Absolutely.
But then, so uni kind of, you know, it was fantastic. But I think when I got to the end of it, I thought Liverpool is calling me.
Okay.
There was something about home that I missed. I feel like that's really common for Liverpool people, but I knew that there was a lot of support there also. Again, you know, London being a bit isolating, I thought Liverpool is the one. Go back, there's loads of community there, and let's see what's going on. So I headed back, and I got involved in the biennial. I was an intern there.
So just briefly, what's the biennial?
So the biennial it's a contemporary arts organisation based in Liverpool. They have a 2-yearly arts exhibition. Again, artists from all over the world will come and they will exhibit their work, and then people from all over the world will come and watch that, you know, visit that exhibition, which is a great thing. So when I came back to Liverpool, I was like, I want to be in the arts, I think. So biennial first came to my mind. I got in touch with them. I became an intern there.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I really recommend, you know, anybody out there just going into these places and saying, look, I really want to get involved, but I'm not sure how. I mean, I don't really want to be making you coffee, but if I've got to make you coffee, I'll make you coffee. And then if I can get into other ways, and I'm, you know, and it leads me into different avenues, then you've got a foot in the door, because sometimes it's really hard to get that foot in the door.
Every single guest on the podcast says this.
Yeah.
Every single guest says, take on an internship, placement, work experience. Obviously it's encouraged in schools anyway, but once you reach an age where you can go out and take a work placement, every single guest says the same thing, to go out and do it.
Absolutely, I agree completely. It just gets you into a world of, you know, the working reality, you know, of something. So
plus you can try something, and if you do realise, oh, I actually hated that, that is no love lost.
Absolutely.
You can literally go another work placement. This is the joy about being young and being able to be creative almost with your time.
Absolutely,
and where you spend it. You try something, I'm really, really excited about doing that. You tried it, you absolutely hated it. You try something else, you loved it. That's the joy. It's
you have that
joy.
Freedom at that age as well. Absolutely. So I would say, rather than, you know, think too much down the line, you're in a position where, you know, you are free to kind of experiment as well in different industries. So it doesn't have to be one specific, you know, avenue, because it can lead you anywhere. So like me with the biennial, led me to become a baker. So that was never going to be, you know, that was never, you could never have guessed that. That was not, you know, that was not always going to happen. So yeah, I mean, just take a chance and see where it leads you, really. That's what I would recommend. But
you're open to the opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you never know who you're going to meet.
No.
Especially in the biennial, as you say, if it's really just going in there and making coffee and maybe picking up the post and very small jobs, somebody in there could spot something in you that they think, well, let's encourage that.
Yeah.
And let's think how we can, you know, help that person onto the next possible job.
What I found in the biennial was I was going in saying, you know, I've got these skills, because I think they specifically wanted me to do like social media, and I was kind of like, that's not my skills. I'd like to do photography and documentary making, because I'd done that in university as well. I documented all our work. So I kind of was like, I'd love to do that. And they saw, okay, we've got this artist coming over from the Netherlands, and she needs someone to document her journey when she's here. And that's what I kind of did. So I went from just being like, I'm available to do anything, and then I got this amazing opportunity. I had my camera, luckily, you know, I was really fortunate to have that piece of kit. And I was able to just go around and photograph her, and it was an amazing, you know, privilege to be able to do that. But the most spectacular thing about that whole thing was that it was, the actual project was based in Anfield, where I'm from originally, where we're from, obviously. So, and I was able to kind of go back to where I'd come from before university, so I basically really go home, and it was full just circle. But in this arts environment. So it was really, really, really lucky to be in that situation. So this artist was working with people in Anfield, in the local community. A lot of stuff at the time was to do with the football ground, and it was kind of like knocking down houses, and I was documenting all of that with this artist. And so there was a bakery, Mitchell's Bakery, that was just about to close, and it was
just briefly, our mum used to take us to for bread and cakes, didn't she?
Every
for
day
years, like a family bakery.
Yeah. So it was this unbelievable, like, you know, connection to this thing that was unfolding. Again, really privileged, I couldn't believe it. So this bakery was kind of getting closed. The family were leaving it, they were selling up and going. And then it was a question, it happened really quickly. People in the biennial said, okay, whilst it's sat there vacant, would we be able to go and like have our community meetings in this bakery? And they agreed to that, and that was fine. And that was just, I got to go into this bakery with my camera and document all of the kind of historical, like, madness that was in there. It was an incredible, it was like a museum of like bakery goods and things. So again, all like really amazing to like witness and watch. So I documented that. Then so then really luckily there was like, we should do a baking class because we're in a bakery, and then I ended up doing a baking class, and literally the rest is history.
And that's it.
I did one bit, and this is what I love about being creative and having an open mind. You just don't know where it's going to lead you. So if you've got different aspects to your creativity, if it's not just one thing, you know, you've got different strings to your bow.
Absolutely.
Then you can apply it to anything, really. So the thing that, again, I was saying 1 minute it was the documenting, the, you know, like photograph and stuff like that. And then the next minute, all of a sudden, it was bread. And it was just so, I'd never been a good cook. I'd never been a baker. I had no interest in it whatsoever. But I was truly inspired by the guy who taught me how to make this one loaf of bread. Yeah. And I thought, I want to be like him. I want to have that desire and passion to kind of create something. And and spread it, you know, and make people happy with it. It was a beautiful thing that I connected with straight away.
But that's the whole point. That could be anything.
Yep.
So that could be any teacher that any young person comes in contact with, and it could be graphics, it could be fashion illustration, it could be product design. Absolutely. And if you can ignite that passion, even if you ignite that passion within yourself, to say, oh my gosh, I absolutely love that, I'm going to find out more.
Yep.
I'm going to find out everything there is to know about that. I'm going to follow the designers. I'm going to look back in history. I mean, you've gone from that crazy old bakery, which was so amazing, looking at all that stuff now. How many years ago was that?
That would have been about 11 years ago, I think.
And now you're a co-founder of your own bakery.
Yeah.
Obviously, your own bakery's been through lots of different... we're looking at the Wild Loaf. It's been through such an amazing story, isn't it? Because we obviously had COVID. So obviously, you've had your wholesale business where you sell the bread to other stores. So a wholesale business is where you sell to another business. Yeah. And they sell it. They sell the product for you, so that applies to anything. And then you had COVID, where people would pull up in a car and come and collect this bread.
It was incredible. Yeah,
so,
we were super
what an
lucky.
Incredible story this has been on.
Absolutely,
it's amazing.
And where it started, you know, something that was just, I never knew was there. That's the thing, that was just this kind of like, no, my path is in the arts and I must continue this way. And then it just was like, no, just... look at this thing and, you know, use that. I kind of felt it was a vehicle to kind of, to be honest, make money as well. It was a product that I could sell, you know, and I'm not going to hide behind that, because in the arts it's incredibly challenging sometimes. Don't let that put you off. But where are you going to get that wage? Is it going to be consistent? It's a question you have to have. So again, with that self-employed mindset, I was always a DJ, so I always had income. But I was kind of like, if I could see this bread and I can make a business, then I can have a, you know, I could see myself having a regular income, and that was really exciting to me. So yeah, I left Home Baked, and then me and my partner at the time, we set up the Wild Loaf Bakery, and it was a wholesale thing originally. Again, that was just looking in the market, seeing what people wanted, seeing what there was a niche for. And then someone coming to me saying, if you could do me this, I'll be your first customer. And that was it. So it was like, got an oven that I had no idea required 3-phase electricity. My plan was to have that in the garage in the house, and that was ridiculous. So all of these mad things,
huge learning curve,
every single day. It still is now. You know,
I think as an entrepreneur,
unbelievable. Yeah, whether it's figuring out what this type of electricity or anything like that, like
an oven is not
so
like
much.
Just let's put this into perspective. The size of the oven,
it's a ton.
It's
the size of a car. And I was like, I will get that through that door, no problem. And I've made continuous mistakes like that
with these ovens,
and I'm making less now. That's all I can say.
Because you know the size of the ovens. Did we take the front? In the garage, did the doors come off the garage? The doors
came off. Then I realised it was no way was I going to have enough electricity to power the thing, because I needed probably
enough electricity in the whole street.
Industrial electricity, you know, it's a difference between industrial and then just living in your house. You not got it. So yeah, ended up going to Kane's Brewery, found a space there. This was before there was anything in Kane's Brewery.
And what time were you in there in the morning?
So we were going at like 4:00 in the morning. There'd be no one there. Absolutely terrifying. Crazy things that you got to do that I did. And obviously Emily did as well. So yeah, we started there, and honestly that's it. It's just been like, more so than anything, it's been the support of the customers. It's been the support of people in Liverpool just wanting us to kind of continue and feeling like they want us to succeed as well. And that's why it's a great place to be as well. But yeah, so now we've got a space in Brunswick, near Brunswick Station, and it's got like the whole plan was always to have like the theatre of bread making, you know, going back to Mitchell's, because everything was made on site and then sold straight out as fresh as it could be. And for the interim period for us, we had a shop, and then we had a space where we could make it. So we always wanted it to be together, and you know, just selling it as straight out the oven, and that's what we've got now, and that's what's going really well after COVID, I'm happy to say.
Absolutely. I think you obviously specialise in a certain type of bread. It's sourdough bread, which is like an artisan bread, which you guys have taught yourselves how to do. You've perfected it. You now use that recipe within other products. Yeah. So you've found something that's unique to you and your bakery, which I think people travel from the surrounding areas. So again, you can apply that to any creative project, is to create something which can become your real trademark.
Absolutely. It has like a USP, doesn't it? Yeah,
and USP means unique selling
Good question, point. There you go. I kind of forgot that there. I was like, I know what it means. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, if you've got that, then you step out, you know, you're stepping above the kind of parapet and people are taking notice of you, and that's where they're going out their way to support you, because there's something special about you and special about what you do.
And they can see your team, and they can see how hard that you work. You're a mainly female team, I think, which is quite unusual for a bakery as well. But I'm just saying this, but you might disagree. But I feel incredibly lucky that obviously I work in fashion, but I live in my own bubble of my little fashion reality. So I haven't come up against any sort of I'm very female orientated, the team's female, you're very much the same, but I think certainly in more bakeries,
absolutely,
cookery schools, I was speaking to another young person who said she was one of 3 out of a group of 25 students on a cookery course, one of 3 females. So I think in your industry, it's really unique to have such a female strong team, isn't it? Obviously you have Sean that works with you, but that's something to be really proud of, isn't it?
Absolutely. In terms of the bakery side of things, the production, we are all women, and I think for me, it's always been important to give people an opportunity, more so like a bit of I'm going to prioritise you over, you know, because it's so male dominated, the industry. So we would do wholesale bread. I'd walk into kitchens with like however many loaves. Every single person in every single kitchen was across the board male men. So it was kind of like male men. So it was kind of like, I felt like there sort of needed to there just needs to be a bit of a gap there, you know, for women to come in and feel like they could, just like have a go at it, because, you know, women cook at home and they're really celebrated for that, but then it's in a commercial setting, it's not so celebrated there, and that's because women have different pressures on them, like, you know, childcare, you know, all these things, and not to say that men don't, but it's a different kind of world. So if we can always celebrate that, we will definitely, and we've been really good at that so far. And I remember a guy saying to me in Mitchell's, I picked up a loaf of, like a bag of 16 kilos flour, and he was like, just couldn't believe it. Like, he was just like, how? Why are you doing this? And I was like, are you joking? Like, it was just such an old-fashioned, like, you know, and he was a bit old-fashioned as well, but it's like, it's just that kind of, it's that, preconception that maybe you're not strong enough, or you're not got the you know, the determination and all of those things, because it's incredibly labour-intensive. It's really hard work. You're knackered at the end of the shift, but you've produced this beautiful thing that you've started in the day and you've finished, and I love that. It's gone out, people have eaten it, and you've created a vibe, people are happy with it. You start with a full counter full of things, that's every single thing's being handmade, and in the day with an empty counter because it's all being bought and people love it. So that's must make you so proud. Obviously it's an amazing business. I mean, what we also talk to the guests about is resilience. So resilience is built through different industries in different ways. So maybe somebody saying to you, you can't pick up that bag of flour. You know, it's those kinds of comments that somebody will just say that really could change someone's complete mindset. So I'm going to prove to you that I'm going to pick up this 16 kilos bag of flour, and I'm going to do it every day, and I'm going to make a business out of it. You know, like, do you feel like you built up any resilience over the years? Was there any situations you found yourself in that you thought, 100%, I'm
going to prove to you, like, you're wrong?
The determination, you know, it grows. It's like you kind of do want to prove people wrong, and you know, you want to give space for that, you know, environment where women can achieve those things as well, and celebrate as much as possible. But I just feel like what was the question? I've just gone completely blank.
It's okay. Shall we start that again? Okay. So is there any situations you've been in where you've been able to build resilience, anything which you can remember, whether it's university or, you know, working in another bakery, anything, which, because I talk to the guests about this all the time, and I think it's a really important thing for young people to be able to say, okay, that person was really mean to me, or they critique my work and it made me feel really bad, but this is how you can become stronger because of it. Yeah, absolutely. So you're always learning, you know, in this type of industry. So, I mean, resilience comes from, you know, just keeping on going, and, like, obviously your drive and your passion is there that's keeping you going. And, you know, sometimes that just kind of like withers, and you think, oh God, I'm not good enough, or I'm not as good as them, and things like that. And you're always building that resilience to kind of prove to yourself that you can do it, you know, more than anything, rather than proving to other people. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, in terms of the bakery side of things, I've always had confidence in that. It's more, and to be completely honest, it's more the business side of things, because if you're going to open a business, you know, you do need to build resilience through that, and that's learning from scratch, you know, like, and there'll be mistakes and things like that you can make along the way,
because a lot
because
of people...
you will make mistakes
100%.
every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what people don't talk enough about as an entrepreneur.
Which is the journey of how you get
Absolutely.
to somewhere, and it doesn't mean that the journey's over. It's just kind of like you're still on that journey, you're still learning, you are still building resilience, and you're still going. But the business side of things is always like, you know, to be honest to people, is like, you've got this creative, gorgeous product that everyone wants. Okay, well, what about the back end of it? You know, is like, is all the admin done, and, you know, accountancy, all of these things, they scared the living out of me. I was really scared. But again, I've become more resilient over time, and I've taught myself a lot. I've engaged with a lot of other people. They've also inspired me.
That's great.
And
so reaching out to other business owners.
Absolutely.
That's a great piece of advice.
100%. That was a big turning point for me. You know, I did speak to one particular person, and he gave me a lot of insight into the business side of stuff. And then my confidence grew. And to be honest, that was like 3 years into the business. That was not early days, you know. So especially during COVID, it was like, will we, won't we? Will we carry on? And then I had this experience, and I thought, yeah, we'll carry on, because now I know what I'm doing, you know. But before that, it was a bit unsure. Yeah.
I mean, so say they've watched the class, Baking the Perfect, you know, cookie that we've recorded on the KD Club, and they think, well, that's it, I'm going to set up a cookie making business. So this is the kind of thing you can do. You can watch a class, you can teach yourself something. And you can start selling cookies to your neighbours, or, you know what I mean, you could do a bake sale, or you could do something in school, and really put yourself forward. If once you've perfected, whether it's a cookie or whether it's a scrunchie, do you know what I mean? They're all the same, but it's perfecting a product and having the confidence in to be able to sell it, really, isn't it? And that's what it's all about. So it's 100%. The business with the creative side of it.
Yeah. And there will always be obstacles. You know, you'll always say to yourself, it's just not good enough. I'm charging too much. I'll undersell. I'll do these things, you know, and it's, you just kind of have to go through that to kind of realise that, you know, you are good enough and your price points are right and people do want it. It's just a confidence thing. I'm not sure whether it's a woman thing as well, but maybe women underselling ourselves. I don't know, but it feels a little bit like, just believe in yourself that you'll get there, but it will not be an overnight thing. But if, like you say, if you're just doing like the bake sales and you're exchanging, it's a transactional thing, you're getting a little bit of cash, that cash will give you the confidence to say, okay, someone does want this, that's what you've got to do.
Absolutely. And I think it builds that huge confidence in going, I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people love it, and the cookies could lead to bread, toast, whatever, anything. It can lead to any different product.
We started as bread, and we've got bread, we do now pastries, coffee, sandwiches, you know, the vehicle was the bread. It began, you know, it was the beginning of the story, so it could take you anywhere. You know, we could do classes, we could do workshops, we could do you know, all sorts of things. If you find that one thing, it will open up a whole world of possibilities, really, like you did with the clothes.
I think that's a great takeaway to come from this podcast is obviously look at every opportunity and just be open to every opportunity that really comes your way. I think to have a very closed mindset is going to be difficult because you just do not know. And I'm like nearly 20 years in the business. You're obviously 10 years in the business, and you still think how many opportunities are available to you. And obviously ends. You and Emily as in the co-founders. Just briefly, obviously I'm a solo entrepreneur, so it's just me and me. You've got another co-founder, Emily, so you've worked amazingly well together. Do you think it's nice to be able to share the responsibility, so to be able to do something, you know, as a partner?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I think you did a great job of kind of thinking you could do, you know, jack of all trades, because you really are good at that and confident in yourself, and you've been really successful as that. But I feel like with me and Emily, we found a good balance of like what she's good at and what I'm good at, you know, because we were taking on a big project, so like she's really good at like product creation, coming up with new ideas, flavor combinations. You know, she's really inspired to do that with the mindset of it being more sustainable and, you know, better for the environment, like the produce that we use and more locally sourced. That's her, you know, agenda, and she's fantastic at that. So we celebrate that and we say, yeah, you do that. I'll then take more of a, you know, approach to kind of like managing the staff, admin, things like that. But also I am a baker. I always want to be a baker. I don't want to step away and just manage. So I get that choice, which is just a beautiful thing. You know, I get to choose whether I want to do that, which is great. So yeah, there's always, we complement each other. We really do. And like what we create, but we both can do both our jobs. So, you know, if I wasn't there, she could do it, and vice versa. So it's great. I really would recommend it. Find the right person. You know, it can always go wrong. You just don't know. But it's like,
You'll have your ups and downs just as you would with anything else, I think.
100%, yeah.
But that's a really interesting way of looking at it, isn't it? If you and a friend wants to start a business and one of you was amazing at doing the social media and the other one was amazing at making the scrunchies.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, find somebody who, exactly as you said, can complement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can work together as a team to be able to, so it's sharing the load. If you really would love to start a business, you're thinking, oh, I'm too scared to do it on my own, but you reach out and you collaborate with somebody else and it becomes a joint project.
Absolutely.
I think it makes it much more realistic as well.
Yeah, and it can be a little bit lonely if you've not got that backup.
True.
You know, you need to have a good support system there if you've not got that backup. And yeah, I think it's just a great thing to be able to share that with someone, you know, especially when you're taking on big responsibilities and things like that. You know, it's easier.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I love the reflection back on Mitchell's Bakery, to be honest, that old family bakery.
Yeah.
And you think about that as a full circle, that is so crazy. We literally used to go there. I just, at that point, you were at Central St. Martin's, I did not expect for you to end up being a baker.
In Anfield.
In Anfield.
Like pretty much where we grew up.
I know.
It was you just got to take those risks and just, you know, just don't always kind of like look down the line and think this is where I've got to be, this is where, you know, you might want to be there, but you just have to be flexible with the whole thing. And I think a lot more opportunity will come your way if you've got that, again, like we go back to it, open mind. That's kind of what I had. And yeah, and also a bit of determination as well.
Super. Perfect. Thank you so much, Jess. Really appreciate that.
It's okay.